Welcome to the 2026 first half review for First Rodeo Racing. Brian, if you had to describe the second quarter of First Rodeo Racing in one sentence, what would it be?
Unbelievable. I don't even think you need to throw adjectives, verbs, whatever a sentence actually consists of. I
I
think
love
one
it.
word does it justice.
Nikki?
Is the name a sentence?
Yes.
2-7.
Hell, I mean, we started the second quarter, um, you know, high on an allowance win, and we finished it dual stakes winners on two different services. So 270, that guy, nothing better. But we're gonna run through financials, the fun stuff, and the real fun stuff, the events that we got coming up, some questions, and then we'll kind of go horse by horse, recapping what went on, and then kind of what the future for them. So it's a really good article. If you guys are wanting to learn more about horse racing, I definitely recommend reading the TDN. So it's a really good article in TDN about what it costs to train a horse versus, the purse money that's out there. And yes, we're at record purse money, but as you can see here, the odds are quite literally stacked against us. This considers a 40K per horse per year, which really in Kentucky, New York, it's closer to 60,000 per horse per year. And then this is your total amount of money that's given out. So there's roughly a $740 million gap between what it costs to train and then what they give out. And almost 80% of horses do not earn what it takes to train them. So all that said, it's called the Sport of Kings for a reason. It's a very difficult game. We joke around that it's an easy game, but this is a great article that kind of points out the financial side of things and how difficult this game is. Any reactions here, boys?
Definitely not an easy game. I think the reality of the cost of the sport sometimes gets lost in it. Not a cheap sport to play.
Sport of Kings for a reason. All right. So we'll go just year by year here, kind of breaking down kind of where things are at financially. If you want these sheets, it breaks down every single race that a horse is in, every single bill we've ever received, and kind of populates it into one screen here on the front that we kind of can go over together. So what this basically tells us is we currently have more money in the bank account than we started with. So very positive there. Obviously, definitely on the back of one horse here, 270. This is a pretty cool representation in terms of like kind of what we net out per race. And then if we own half of them, kind of what we get out. So he's earned for our group only over 100K. So I mean, that's pretty incredible when you claim the horse for 20,000. I mean, if you win this first race and he gets claimed for 30, that's considered a big win. We kind of just saw 80% don't make their way. So he's kind of paying the way for himself and another full horse, even though he only owned half of them. So really, just the one 270 is paying for four horses, which is pretty crazy. That all being said, obviously we still have bills to pay, for all the horses, and down here is where we will calculate reserves at the end of the year. So now is probably a good time to remind everybody that at the end of August, we're going to stop acquiring new horses and tell everybody, okay, here's how much money you're going to get back from First Racing 4, 3, and 2, as well as here is the plan for First Racing 5, and we'll start that new fund. So come the end of August, early September, everyone will kind of know what the total amount they're going to have out of this year's groups, and then we'll split up the next year's group and, start the fun all over. Anything to add, Brian, here on the financials of First Racing 4?
I know. I would say there's a lot of opportunity here still with 270 throughout the year. One or two big races for him, and we're sitting really pretty. So I'm
Yeah,
excited
well,
for that. Excited for Batos. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I kind of throw an accent on it.
I gotta change her name here actually from Eyes Open to Badass because she's got a name now.
Yeah, excited to see what she can do. And yeah, just I think there's a lot more for the first time in 4 years. There's a lot more potential than how these meetings have gone historically.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good segue into last year's group. Last year's group, obviously, I think Brian said it best. Where like 6 steps cost us about 50K or about a third of the fund. So last year, I mean, I think Florida Patriot needs to go on and be like a Breeders' Cup champion in order for us to get back to even. And you kind of can see it like horse by horse, kind of the bleeding that kind of went on there. Um, we kind of said 80% of horses don't make what it takes to train them in a year. We definitely felt that last year, and more than anything, I think this column kind of tells the bigger story there about when it kind of goes to zero. It's it's very difficult for you to recoup, much there. I mean, this is pretty crazy here in terms of he's my honey badger in terms of what it cost to like acquire him. Made more money because it went to zero. You can't recoup that. We definitely learned a lot last year. We're definitely still excited we have Florida Patriot. Florida Patriot made her first 2 starts this quarter, and she honestly surprised us all in the first race. It's never good before a race when you're kind of getting, you know, excuses. The distance is too long. She need another work, and then for her to go out and, all but win it, like literally look like the winner the entire way around into the last, eighth of a mile, even maybe the last 16th of a mile. So still super excited about her. We'll go horse by horse later, but from a pure financial point of view, what matters here is currently got about 19 grand in the bank. It costs us about $400 a month to keep Florida Patriot in training, so the reserve number is lower than the working capital, which is a positive sign, means things are going in the right direction there. Anything to add to that there, Nick?
No, covered everything.
And that's a very similar story in First Racing 2. See that one horse left in that 2024 group, Power of Will. He did make 2 starts for us, in this quarter. He definitely surprised us at Churchill. We finally got him to kind of what we wanted him to do there, going along, and disappointed us. But all that being said, current working capital is currently larger than amount of reserves that we think we'll need at least for the next few months. So we'll continue to truck on, and the good thing is he's a happy, sound horse. So we'll keep fighting the good fight there. So that being said, and this is kind of a big reveal too. I'm kind of realizing it now. Brian kind of teased it with potential 270, but here's the events that we've got planned for the rest of the year. So we hope everybody can make it. There'll be links in the group app under the events tab to sign up for these. We'll probably text them out too. But it kind of swings from New York in August. So all our Northeast folks can hit us up there. Then we kind of go to Kentucky there in the fall. In football season, we get back to the South. So maybe catch a UK or a Louisville football game too. But we'll kind of go event by event. Saratoga sale meetup. So this is going to be less of a party, more of a educational sort of trip for those that are interested. We plan to go to, so it's the Sunday after a big race day. So it'll definitely be a chiller day at the track overall. We'll meet up in the morning, probably around like 11 or noon for those driving up, to give everybody the opportunity to do it. Those that are there early want to go to the backside will probably punch over the backside for a little bit too, watch morning training, kind of see that side of things. Then there is the big Saratoga sale, which is a huge party the Monday and Tuesday after Whitney weekend. So we'll walk around the sale, probably introduce everybody to our bloodstock agent, Oracle Bloodstock. There's usually a lot of industry people in town, and we'll also kind of look at some baby horses and talk through what we look for in a horse when we're at the sales and the sales dynamics, and then cross the street in the afternoon and then go over to the races, and we can all handicap some races together, ask some questions about reading the form, figure out, what pick five Nick and I are going to be dreaming up. I'll probably, miss on a long shot or two and get angry. But it is what it is. I guess, Nikki, you kind of saw it last year because we kind of did this last year, me, you, and David. Maybe talk a little bit about your experience last year going to the sale with the crew.
Yeah, honestly, that was like one of the most fun mornings I ever had in Saratoga. Awesome experience walking around the sale with our bloodstock agents, Matt, David. Some other guys that we met as well. We met one of the co-owners of Florida Patriot there as well, so that was cool. Just a great experience. If you're a racing fan, just to be in that setting, and you see a flight line, you see a Cyberknife, you see Life is Good, all these great horses that are now sires, just to see their children there, and knowing that in the next day or so they're going to go for $1 million, $2 million. It's a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, and at that sale, like that's like the premier sale. You'll have, very famous racehorses that were females represented too. So you'll see,
Yeah.
descendants of champion females as well, which is pretty cool as well. And then we'll end August in Saratoga as well. This will be a more traditional party weekend. Friday night we'll probably all get together, whether we go to bars, play some cards somewhere, TBD on exactly what, but we'll get together, throw down, have a good time. And then Traverse Day is definitely a blast. It's definitely a hoot. And then B Mills, do you want to announce the potential next race target for 270 here?
Yeah, just try to ease them back into racing after a little layoff for $1.5 million. Just a little trot around Franklin, Kentucky for him. So I'm
Yep.
really excited for that day. We're looking into possibly getting a party bus to leave from Nashville to head up there. It's in Kentucky, but it is a lot. It's only like a 45-minute trip from Nashville. So if anyone's looking to fly in, I would definitely recommend going to Nashville and not Kentucky, unless you want to drive 2 hours, but I personally wouldn't. And I live in Nashville, so it's a lot more fun that way.
Yeah, I'm sure the race would be on Labor Day Monday, so I'll kind of caveat everything with this is the plan right now. We're actually gonna put a vote for everybody to kind of get their voices here. This is definitely the target now after his last race on the turf. He kind of showed that he's, might be even better on the turf than the dirt, which is pretty crazy. So this is our target. The question is, do we try to fit a race in between? Right now, we're leaning no. The assistant trainers leaning no, but we kind of want everyone else to have their voice heard as well. So I mean, it will be a blast of a weekend. It's Labor Day Monday, so I plan to spend probably too much time, too much money, and not remember enough of some Broadway nights there in Nashville on maybe Friday, Saturday. The potential that Battis may debut on Sunday. May, a keyword is never know with the babies, but there's a race that potentially could work for her on that Sunday. That trainer Tom Malloy mentioned, and then 270 on the Monday would be the party buses are more expensive than I initially thought, so we're gonna put out some stuff on that, but it'll probably run anywhere from like $75 to $100 a person, depending upon interest, things like that. And then next event, I mean, by this point we'll probably have like a Q3 review maybe, but King of September basically kind of run it like we kind of did with Saratoga. It'd be more of a kind of an educational, behind the scenes of kind of how things are run event versus like a party like Traverse and 270 running will be. And then the end of year party in Lexington, it'll be a party for sure. It'll be around college football time too. So everyone that's been to Keeneland down the hill, they kind of know the party. And we did this last year. We've definitely learned some things. We're gonna have even more fun this year. So all that being said, hope to see everybody at least once. Hope everyone can
I'd
meet
say the
their
end of
horses.
the end of the year is a mix of both, right? We'll probably hit a stud farm or something while we're up there, learn about the early life and later life of horses, and you'll definitely get whatever you want out of that weekend, but one of the most fun weekends of the year.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good balance. Did Airdrie last year. TBD on this year. We may do Airdrie. We may try to get in to TaylorMade and see not this time. So TBD on that, but it will be a good balance, like Brian said. And that'll be a full weekend too. Like we learned last year not jam it all into one day. So it'll be a full weekend too, which will be fun. All right, next thing we got are questions. So we've got some good questions that were submitted. The first one, so let's just pull this one up because the first question, I mean, obviously 270 is the big horse right now for us, our first stakes horse. And the question was, what's the plan for the rest of the year and what is the expected time between races? So we kind of teased it there in terms of potentially having a race between or not. You kind of can see here from his speed figures. I mean, he's been ultra consistent, running at a high level. I think the way that he won the Dade Park Dash was very impressive over very serious race horses drawing off like that. Kind of tells us like, hey, we could be very serious turf horse. And we kind of went through all the stake races for 3-year-olds. So the key with him right now is we want to keep him against his own age group. There's a ton of stakes races restricted to just 3-year-olds. So we want to keep him in those races right now. We want to keep him going short, so only one turn. So there's no reason to add a second turn if he's going to be so elite at the one turn. So that's kind of where we kind of started thinking through some things. He worked out really well on the turf here. So we're like, all right, let's try this turf stake instead of the max field and see, okay, what we could do with the rest of the summer, rest of the fall. So we can really start dreaming now. I mean, if we're going to run one for $1.5 million on the grass, I mean, we're not going to won't be a crazy long shot. He's always doubted for some reason, maybe because we got him for 20, but he'll continue to be doubted, I'm sure, but he won't be like 50 to 1. Like, I think we'll be anywhere from like 4 to 1 to probably like 7 to 1. So to be live for 1.5 million with a horse to claim for 20 would be crazy. And then we'd like to take things one step at a time. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. The words Breeders' Cup have come up in conversation, but let's take it one race at a time. We continue to dream, but under promise, over deliver. But it's a very serious consideration if things go well on Labor Day at Kentucky Downs, if we decide to make that his next race. Anything to add on that?
I would just say Kentucky Downs is a very atypical track in America. Probably the only one that I know of. It's more of a kidney shape. Matt's pulling up a photo. Very European, more kidney shape, and there are hills in it too. So sometimes horses don't like it. Some horses love it. Definitely a great spot to throw some longer shots. The favorites very rarely ever win, I feel like, there. So, yeah,
It's
just
a
excited to
wild.
see how he
It's
translates.
so unique.
It's a very wild experience. You kind of see here. Here's Churchill, very flat, and then we got some videos we probably should have pulled up of Brian and I watching these races, and overall it's a fun place to go. I mean, you kind of can see from here. I mean, this is the kind of vibe it is. It's very
Very
like
county
country
fair.
fair, yeah. But like they're running for like $1.5 million.
And that's not
So I
like
mean,
an uncommon purse there either. I think they put out, I want to say last year was $28 million across 2 weeks or something
It's
crazy like
insane.
that.
I think maiden special weight's like 175.
Yeah.
it's a wild amount of money is on the line there, but I mean, it's crazy. It'll be fun. It will be a very fun experience, regardless of what happens. Here's a good overview. I mean, you got people. Let me zoom in. People like pull up tents over here on the first on the turn over here. They've made a better experience watching, but it's crazy. It's a wild experience. And we think Seven will take to it. He's one of he's just a dog. He's just a dog. So we'll see. All right, then that kind of goes into the next question in terms of okay, like we noticed the time between races for 270 is longer than the time between races for a horse like Colonel Caliente. So you'll see this, especially with horses that are kind of running big numbers, is there's a theory that after a horse runs a big number, if you run them back right away, they'll bounce. So they kind of get more space between races. So horses are at their peak for these big races. It kind of just comes down to if you're running at the top level against top level horses, like you want your horse to fire its best shot. You don't want to be the horse that has the gas tank at 90% when you know that in these big races, the big purses, you're against horses that will come in with a tank at 100%, and you're running for so much money where it's very important that
Advantageous.
you're firing your best shot. Anything to add there, Nikki?
No, you pretty much covered it all. Patience is big with the good horses. Finding the right spot. There's no need to kind of force a race when you're running for that much money. Right, with a claimer, it's almost like, hey, let's try to put the horse in here. Maybe we'll lose them. Maybe we'll win. You're kind of like almost searching for something with the claimers, and where it's like with the good horse, you're kind of just letting it come to you and letting the horse tell you where to go.
Yeah. You're oftentimes trying something different to see, I've talked with Tom Malloy about this where it's like you want to change things, but you don't want to change, you want to try to make it a controlled experiment where you change one variable to see how that affects things. And it could be as simple as, we're adding blankers, removing blankers, or we're galloping him stronger in the mornings now. And really the only way to get a true data point to see if that works is to race them. And with horses like that, where you're trying new things, you kind of have to ebb and flow with the form cycle as well. So that's kind of exactly what's happening with the Colonel now. Is all right. We tried to stretch him out a bit. We tried him against a little bit tougher company. Didn't work well. We tried him back, off of a short rest as well, 14 days later. So now we said, okay, let's get his nutter butters out of the way and see how that helps him. So we may toy with trying the grass with them. We may not, but probably more than anything, we probably want to get, like we said, to keep a controlled experiment. We probably do want to try them, one turn, hopefully against the same group of horses, the same level of horses where you ran second here, and hopefully still going 3/4 of a mile, so we can, see, measure, try to get it apples to apples, even though it's not quite that. But you're trying things. You're trying to figure it out.
And I would say more on the finance business side of it too. I mean, 270 and Colonel Caliente pretty much cost the same every month to own, right? So when you're racing for more money, you have more play in it before you start to go red versus a horse that's running for $42,000. You just don't have that luxury of coming in third and still being profitable on them.
Very good point. Very good point. All right. Last question we got was: Is there a plan to claim any more horses this year? And Nikki, I'll let you take that over.
Yeah, so we're looking to claim a horse up in New York with Jimmy Ferraro. Jimmy's been a long time New York trainer. I think he's got his trainer's license in like 1980-ish, maybe a little earlier. Um, Good guy. I've known him for a while. He's very involved in New York racing. He's New York racing through and through. So we're going to start actively looking to claim a horse pretty soon. Our goal is to own 50% of this horse with a partner as well. And we're going to be on a 60/40 rev share model, meaning that we are going to pay the cost to claim the horse, and then we will not pay another bill. But everything that we earn from the purse will be split 60/40. So it's kind of like playing the claiming game on training wheels, which kind of fits right now, which will be our first horse with Jimmy Ferraro. And it'll also be the first horse that our partner is going to be claiming on their own as well. So it's an exciting time for New York racing, as Matt has up there on the screen. We have the new Belmont Park right around the corner. We're just over 2 months away from opening day there, September 18th. And they also are going to have a new surface there that have synthetic, which is going to be new to New York racing as well. So it's definitely something we're keeping in mind, and we're excited. It's a good time for New York racing.
Yep.
Besides pick six yesterday, but that's a different
Yep.
story.
So goal right now it'd be wonderful if we can get a horse in July to then race back at Saratoga in August. Obviously, we're gonna like the same with Kentucky. Ensure we're not reaching or just grasping at straws just to get a horse. We're gonna wait for the right opportunities. But once we do, and once we pounce, once we win a shake again, hopefully, we plan to run the horse back in Saratoga and then have a horse to run at the new Belmont Park as well. All right.
What's the traditional split if it's not 60/40?
It's a great question. So typically, like the trainers will have day rates. So what they'll do is they will, like, if I could pull up a bill, but like for example, like a day rate of a trainer in Kentucky might be $110 per day. So basically, you pay rent on your horse every single day to be trained, as well as pay the chiropractor, the vet, the spa, the blacksmith, You pay all the bills, keep the horse in training, and then the trainer typically is really they have their own bills in terms of the hot walker, the groom, the foreman, paying for all the food, paying for all the equipment, the tack, the whole 9 yards, the salt blocks, every single thing. They really don't make too much money on the actual day rate itself. They really make money on trainer commissions, which is typically 10% for each race, and then usually some trainers, if a horse finishes in the top three, they'll take 10 to like 12%, 10% for the trainer, and like that, like their business, and then 2% as a bonus to their employees as well. So instead of paying 10 to 12% and paying a day rate, you're really kind of you're going to 60% commission, 40%. It's kind of like, you get a new job, and instead of taking a fixed salary, you're in sales, you take a higher commission percentage. That's basically kind of what you're doing. Like, it kind of limits our upside as owners in a sense that we're going to get less percentage of the purse, so our upside's kind of capped there. But it limits some of our downsides as well, because we don't have the dairy to bleed us. But I think an important caveat too is if the horse does for whatever reason get hurt or kind of need time off, we will take over the bills. So the 60/40 is only active when the horse is in that trainer's barn. All right. Next, we've got horse by horse updates in terms of Q2 performance review and forward looking. So I'll share my screen here again, and let's go. Let's start with the big horse. Let's start with Mr. 270. So Q2 really started with a win in Arkansas, and then the boys going nuts over winning a race on Kentucky Oaks Day, which is pretty special. And then the Dade Park Dash. I mean, great photos here. It's actually wild looking back at the first photo we have of him and kind of what he has blossomed into as a racehorse, just as like a pure specimen. Like this picture here, I think is
He's
he's
a beast.
he's blossomed. Maybe they could pull up side by side the first picture we have of him. But I mean, like obviously we've already kind of talked through what we kind of plan next for him, so that's kind of out of the bag now. It's nothing short of a living daydream that we're on right now with him, which is, I mean, just so cool. All right, this was 270 when we claimed him. Side by side, you could just, I mean, the block, like, it's crazy how much he's up. And this is why claiming a younger horse can really pay off, because they have that natural maturity development, to still come. You kind of can just see the muscle definition that he has through his shoulder, through his gaskin here as well. Like he has blossomed into a very, 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 very serious racehorse for us. Nuts. All right, so 270, we talked about Colonel Caliente. The Colonel, he ran really well for us the first time out. So kind of pull up the financial side of things as well. He's earned more than he's cost so far in terms of his training bills versus what he's earned on the track. So that's very positive. As we know, 80% of horses don't do that. So right now he's on track, which is awesome. After his latest race, we decided to fix him. So we decided to remove the baggage he's got behind in terms of his sack there. In terms of the reasons why, it's very entertaining and very I'm still a middle schooler, so listening to the reasons why this, like, moving balls from a horse might help him, I have a hard time taking serious. But all things considered, it's kind of like, first and foremost, if he's running, there's a chance that it does bother him. Those that have him kind of know when it gets pinched, maybe doing some, leg presses or something, as well as the mental side of things, lowering that testosterone. The horse might be more apt to respond to the jockey's instructions and might be able to overcome a little bit more, trouble as well. Anything to add there, Nikki? I guess Nikki, like when you're handicapping, you see a first time gelding, a first time that the horse kind of lost its nuts. Do you upgrade them at all?
A lot of people do. I wouldn't say that I'm like an automatic. Oh, this horse is a gelding. Like for the first time, like definitely like um, favor him or anything. I think it's definitely something you have to think about and kind of look into why they're doing it. Right? If the horse is, if the horse isn't going to be a stallion prospect at any point in time, gelding the horse to kind of extend their racing career and give them a chance to have a good career on the track compared to off the track, obviously, because their value isn't as strong as it used to be without their things. So I don't know. I know a lot of people like first time gelding. It's like automatic upgrade. I wouldn't say I'm as strong on that as others.
Yeah. I mean, so 270 was gelded after his first race. It's interesting. I mean, it wasn't the slop versus a fast track, and we do know that now that he loves the slop. So I mean, he improved at the same time as his second career start. So he was likely going to improve no matter what there.
Yeah, I
So
think the timing is very important too. Like first start to second start is natural improvement most of the time. So it's hard to judge. Was it the gelding? Was it just the experience of that first start? Um, I don't know. It's a tricky angle.
yep. I do think just giving the space too, like, I mean, you kind of can see down here the races in which he's had a little bit more space, finished second at Keeneland, then was kind of ran back quickly or in eighth, was even a little bit more time here, disappointed at Turfway, then wasn't really trained, but, got some time between races here. So I think giving Colonel some time too could hit him between the ears as well. So that is the Colonel. So right now he's back in Tom Malloy's barn, training up to his next race, which will likely be um, late August, mid-August maybe. And then it's important to remember in Kentucky we're at Ellis Park until the end of August, so we're running for significantly less money versus then they'll run for at Churchill in September and Keeneland in October. So it's important that like we're kind of projecting ahead too. We kind of want to space things out so we can fire a really good shot for the big pots at Churchill in September. Move on to Miss Batos. Miss Batos made her first breeze this prior weekend. We'll go to YouTube and play it. So the link was sent out in the group of her first breeze. She did very well. Trainer Tom Malloy is like she's answered every question. She continues to answer every question. So that is an amazing sign. And we did also announce so she is on the inside here, actually with a Colt. So she continues to answer every question. I mean, the beginning stages of training a racehorse, you really don't know until they're asked to go longer than a half mile or for furlongs. So jury's still out if she can kind of carry a distance, a true race distance. But she's answered every single question so far. Tom's really pleased with the way she's developing, and he wants to start her on the grass. He would like to get her a start at Kentucky Downs, and then ultimately use that as a stepping stone to a start at Keeneland. I think what is important to note is so because she was purchased for less than $65,000 at auction, she will be eligible for a race that is restricted to horses that were bought for less money. So horses that have less fashionable pedigrees. So Sunday, September 6th, this maiden auction race, they call it. So for auction maidens, for horses which have sold or were RNA for 65 grand or less in their most recent auction. So you're running for less money, but you're still running for freaking 100K, which is nuts. Like Brian said, the money there is crazy at Kentucky Downs. So using that as a stepping stone to then race at some point in October at Keeneland is the plan on paper right now. So knock on wood that she continues to develop because she has been a fun one in the sense that she has answered every question thus far. Anything to add on Batos?
Excited.
Yeah, I mean,
Agreed.
we've said it a million times, but Kentucky Downs is a great place to be running a horse.
It's a very fun time. Just a fun time all around. Even if you don't get a horse running, just hang out there. It's awesome. On the other side of the spectrum, here's our other 2-year-old, still unnamed. So we're still referring to him by his mother's name, Lady Estola. So he's one that, so he's still down in Ocala at Nick Essler's place. Nick has said that he's kind of been stop-start in a sense where he keeps kind of getting little bugaboos here and there. It's not like quite spraining an ankle, but it's like, all right, you tweak a hamstring a little bit, you're gonna back off training, or you come up sore through your in your hips. You're probably not gonna be squatting 315 the next week. That's kind of what he's been. He's been kind of stop-start a little bit. Kind of been taking our time, giving him some time to progress, but he's going to the track every day. He should see his first, farm breeze, which will usually is two furlongs, which is like, a quarter of a mile, or sometimes they go 3/8 of a mile, at a very slow pace. And that's typically the point at which the horses will begin being considered being sent to the track is after they've breezed once or twice. Everyone kind of does it differently, but that's the program that Essler and eventual trainer Ray Handel have developed. So hopefully he's one that, the patience kind of pays off in a sense. We've given him some time to continue to mature, haven't pushed him too hard early, and set him up for a very long and successful career. Anything to add there, boys?
His full sibling took a little bit to get to the track
Yep.
too, so
Pulling her up
I
now.
think just yeah, Matt's gonna pull her up now.
Same mama, same papa.
So it's not every horse has to debut at 2. Doesn't mean it's good or bad. So he'll get there.
Yep. So it looks like his full sister got to Belmont in June. They kind of figured, okay, let's try the turf. They backed off her, gave her some time. Then she actually eventually debuted at Keeneland in April and ran very well on debut. So I mean, I will take a debut in April at Keeneland. Hopefully, one better than second, but second doesn't suck either. But we'll see. I mean, the dream was that he was built a little bit better conformationally than La Salvadorania. So on paper, the hope was that he would withstand training better than she did. So the jury's still out there. And the good thing is like they have this data point in terms of what they had to stop on her. So I think Nick and Ray have made a conscious effort to slowly bring our boy into form here.
I think what's also nice is that with the synthetic at Belmont, if Ray does keep this horse in New York for the winter, and we think it is a turf horse potentially, maybe we might not have to wait until April either to debut.
Yep, totally agree. The synthetic, so there's dirt, turf, and synthetic in racing in the U.S. Dirt is king in the U.S. for sure. Turf racing, very lucrative in the U.S. as we know. And then synthetic is kind of an in-between. It plays similarly to turf, at least a lot of people think that, but it really is a whole third separate surface. Trainers have mixed feelings about it, but the overall statistics show that horses can run more and get hurt less on synthetic surfaces, at least the modern day synthetic surfaces. Might not have been the same way when synthetic was first introduced in the early 2000s, but at this point, it's kind of proven that it's a great surface to bring young horses along. So it's a great option to have as well in terms of a horse that is a little bit more difficult to be sound. You kind of can like a dirt horse. You can be a very hardy horse. Think about like you're running through the sand, and you're not running on like the water, like beaten down side. You're like running through like loose sand. Versus on the turf, you're running on like a bouncy track. Really, I think the bouncy track is really synthetic. It's made up of old car tires. Like that's the kind of material that it's made out of, similar to those tracks. And then turf is more like we run on grass, so we kind of know. Or in certain cases, it's so dry that it's like running on concrete. But it is what it is. So last 2 horses. So Florida Patriot, she definitely, like we said, gave us a good ride there in her first 2 races. She's proven to have a lot of talent, a lot of speed. Sometimes having a lot of speed is both a blessing and a curse because it's hard to keep them sound. But the good news is with her, it is not a bone injury. It's not a serious fracture of any type. It's more like ligaments, soft tissue. So she will get 30 days off. So in August, we'll kind of reevaluate. And I mean, I have under promise over deliver, like we always said, but I have looked at some grass stakes races at Belmont Park, and they run through October. So fingers crossed, things continue to go well. She continues to progress. Get bigger, get stronger, and hits the racetrack. And I mean, her times in her races have been, allowance level winning, potentially stakes knocking times as well. Anything else
Yeah,
there,
so I
boys?
guess, yeah, so she's, I guess to spark note that taking August off, September, using that as getting her back into racing shape, and then looking to race October.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I think this kind of tells us last time she came off of a long layoff, Tom Morley didn't want to just continuously train her. He wanted to get her to a race. So she really only got 4 works here into a race. Typically, it's 5 to 6 weeks, 5 to 6 races before a race. Given her history of training and the stop-start, hopefully she doesn't lose too much conditioning while she's off on the farm, and she can get back maybe even sooner than that. Fingers crossed. But yeah, it was good spark notes. And then finally, the longest tenured homie, Power of Will. I think we found this level here at the maiden claiming 50K range. Their goal was always to try him going long, and we finally tried him long. And that dream, I believe, we can now close the door on that. Didn't embarrass himself. As you can tell, the number actually was better than his number against maiden claimers, but your level of competition means the world, especially in turf racing, and I think his class level is amongst the claiming ranks. So he got back to Ocala, Florida a few weeks ago. He did hit the track down there. I think he popped a little bit of a boo-boo. So I started to stop on him down there in Ocala, but the goal now is to get him on track for a maiden claiming start in August at Colonial Downs in New Kent, Virginia. So that is the plan on paper now for Mr. Power of Will. And that rounds out the roster, the updates, the to-dos. It's a long video. Appreciate Brian and Nick for doing this late because I was on a call. Any final closing thoughts here, boys? If people are still listening this far.
Let's keep the momentum going.
Why not us? If I had to describe, if I could live this to tell that tale, I think for me, my one sentence is, why not us? Went from a question mark to a statement in Q2. It is now a statement.
Yeah, I think just super excited to see what the future holds here. We got a couple of promising prospects, obviously headlined by their golden boy, but overall, I think we got a solid team built out right now. Everyone seems to be trending in the right direction, and we got a plan.
Why not us? Labor Day, be there, be square. August 9th in Saratoga, be there, be square. August Traverse weekend of the 29th, be there, be square. Kingdom September, be there, be square. Kingdom October, end of year party, be there, be square. We want to see you guys. We originally only had 5 events, but now we've got 5 more events. So come out, come see your horses, come hang out with the crew. It's a good time, guaranteed. You'll learn something, maybe make a little bit of money betting the races. Guaranteed you'll have a good time. All right. Appreciate everybody's trust and support. Looking forward to continue to chase first with everybody. Out.